all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash. Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai been the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now we're going to try to go into this civil war and these UFOs that got Esau scared. And WW3, that's going to bring the salvation of the Israelites. And all of this is Bible prophecy. See, the prophecy is prophesying the judgment of these Edomites. Now, let's go into Jeremiah 28:8. Let's get the definition of the prophets, what the prophets was going to come and do. In Jeremiah 28:8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets prophesying against these wicked kingdoms, against these wicked governments. This is who they were prophesying about. It wasn't prophesying about some fallen angels, about some disobedient angels, about the Lord not controlling the spirit world. He losing control of the spirit world and making a deal with these angels in the spirit world. That's not what they was prophesying about. The adversary was these darn governments. Get Apostle Paul in the New Testament saying the same thing. They prophesying against. This is what the wrestle is in this verse. It's not talking about fighting and doing all this crazy stuff, man. It's about the warfare that's being raised on against these people. It's talking about a warfare. But this is Ephesians 6:12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So this is what we wrestle with. This is who we going to war with and prophesying against. These governments. Look at another thing Paul said to Timothy. This is 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 18. It says, this charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on you, that you by them might war a good warfare. So he's warring with the prophecy. That's how we warn against these governments. That's who we warn against. Great countries and this great kingdom of Esau. This is who we warn against. See, it's not a flesh and blood thing. It's we warn with the prophecy, prophesying against these people. And then we go into Revelation 19:10. It says, I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see, you do it not. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. He said, worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Okay, the testimony of Yahushua is what is given. See, we just given the same thing Yahushua was given, that testimony against these kingdoms. And I want to get Revelation chapter 1. Thinking that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Revelation chapter 1, verse 2. It says, who bear record of the word of the Most High and of the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach and of all things that he saw. Okay. Now, verse 5 is one of the points I want to bring out. It says, and Yahushua of Mashiach, who is the faithful witness and of the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth. So that's the part I wanted, the faithful witness. See, he is a faithful witness, and he's giving his testimony. See, and we giving the same testimony, which is the spirit of prophecy. See, that's the testimony that Yahushua was given. That's faithful. Because when you go into Matthew 24, starting with verse 3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? Jump down to verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of war and rumors of war. See, this is what Jeremiah said the prophet was going to do. Prophesy against these great kingdoms of war. It says, see that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7, for nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So you're going to have these nations going at it. And mainly you're going to have the nations being gathered because of the Israelites in captivity. It says, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So this is what Yahushua was talking about. Okay. Now he was giving all kind of prophecies about what would be going on. But let's get Second Ezra 9. Second Ezra 9 and 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when you see part of the signs pass, which I have told you before, then shall you understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. This is what Yahushua was getting this the earthquake thing from. It said, and therefore when there be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. So this is that was one of the major signs which Yahushua was saying that was going to come, which he was getting from the prophecy. See, uproars of the people. He was getting that from the prophecy. Nation rising up against nation. Let's get Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19, I'm going to start at 1. It said, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. So this is not talking about Egypt, ancient Egypt. It's talking about a future spiritual Egypt where the Lord is going to come back to. He's going to come back on the kingdom that's being prophesied against. It says, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So they're going to be fainting out of fear. That's why when you go in the Luke, it tells you, and let's get that real quick. It said, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Let's get these two precepts to show who he's talking about. It's Luke 21 and 26. It says, men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth, the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So he keeps coming up with this men's heart failing them for fear. Let's get that Jeremiah. Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, no, I want 22, Salaki. It says, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle. That's what Isaiah 19 was just saying, that he was going to fly and come on a swift cloud coming into this spiritual Egypt. It says, and spread his wings, this is Jeremiah 49 and 22, and spread his wings over Bosra, and at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pain. So this is who this spiritual Egypt was talking about. See, the Edomites, the kingdom of Esau. Same thing with glue. He's saying the heart, men's heart is going to melt. It's going to fail out of faint, pretty much. See, their hearts and their minds is going to be afraid, scared. That's why I said Esau scared. See, his heart is fainting out of fear. Okay. Now let me get I want that wisdom of Solomon. But you know what? Yeah, let me peek at this wisdom of Solomon right quick and see what it said. Yeah. This wisdom of Solomon, I'm gonna start with verse 1. It said, it's wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no accounts of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. See, they seeing that the prophets is telling them that the Lord is coming for they behind. See, and they starting to have terrible fear in their mind. That's what that heart is talking about. Look at, I'm gonna jump down to verse 3. It says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he who we have sometimes in derision and proverbs of reproach. So this is what they're gonna be saying. Let me go back to Isaiah 19. This is what it was talking about. Isaiah 19, verse 1, it says, the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. See, their heart is going to melt. They're going to have terrible fear. Their heart is going to be failing for fear. The mighty men, see, their heart going to be like a woman that's pregnant, like a pregnant woman. But they seeing what's coming to their kingdom. It says in verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's why they online talking about, they need to just let us go ahead and fight it out. See, just have a purge and all this crap. Give us a year to fight it out, because we're not going to agree with each other. This verse 3, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. See, that's why he said from anguishing of spirit in Wisdom of Solomon. It says, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. So that's why they was clinging on to that dude who got shot in Utah, because he was having that true Edomite spirit. It says, verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says the Lord, and the Lord of hosts. Says the Lord of hosts. And so he was just regurgitating the talking points of Donald Trump, who was the cruel Lord at this time. And he went too far by going into talking about these small hats, See, when you talk about these small hats, they'll take you out because they the ones that's ruling. It ain't no Donald Trump and none of these presidents. These small hats, ish peoples is the number one ruler and the number one Edomites in power. The Rothschild, they some small hats. The Rockefeller, they some small hats. See, all these small hats is in control, and they baiting these other Edomites that want to go on a massacre like in Rosewood in 1920, the Red Summer. And let's get that in this second Ezra. Let's see here. I'm gonna start with 6. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the part of the sunder of the time, or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?" It says, "And he said unto me, From Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." So he going to Esau is going to be ruling that kingdom, that last kingdom. I'm going to jump down to verse 20. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 20. It says, "And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, they shall see all together." So this is what the internet is doing. This is what TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, see, all of these social media websites, they pushing out the truth. It says, jump down to verse 22, it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." You got these women working for these companies saying the people done just got rid of America, man. They just don't want they're not gonna give no service to these American farmers. These American farmers, they on their own because they getting dumped and ditched by the government and these people that help them. So that's how that famine is gonna sweep through this place in a heartbeat. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 23. It says, "And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid." Now, when you looking at verse 20, it says, "And they all shall see together. The book shall be opened, and they all shall see together." So it's already going to be a worldwide communication system going on. So every man is going to hear that it's a famine coming through the land because of this communication system. Verse 24, it says, "And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies." See, these so-called Democrats and Republicans, they're really friends, and they go out to eat and have all kind of parties together. But now it's the climate that's they creating, and especially these small hats that control the media and control these people that even dealing in the media and the news. They gonna cause them to kill each other. It says, "And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein." The whole earth is gonna be in fear because these people causing all kind of drama. And like the rabbi told Ben not a Jew, he said, "Man, bring the Messiah. I want you to do what you got to do to bring the Messiah, because he won't cause all kind of chaos. Do whatever you got to do to cause all the chaos that you can to bring this Messiah." Now, let's see here. Verse 25, it says, "Whosoever remain from all these that I have told you shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So they showed how everything was going to end right there. Now let's go to Second Esdras 15, start with verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ear of my people the words of prophecy. See, that's what he wants you to speak. Not some theology or dogma coming from these cemetery schools. It says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in your mouth, says the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. You see, Yahushua was called a faithful witness. So he was a faithful witness because he's going to give you the prophecy that's faithful and true. That's why I say the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, because these prophecies is faithful and true. It says, for not, verse 3, it says, fear not the imagination against you, let not the incredulity of them trouble you. The incredulity means unbelief. It says, that speak against you, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. See, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness because they're not going to be understanding these prophecies. It says, verse 5, behold, says the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, and this verse, I'm going to jump down to verse 11 to get that spiritual Egypt he was talking about. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. See, he's not going to go and deal with no Egypt. This is talking about a spiritual Egypt. And will destroy all the land thereof. So let's go into this spiritual Egypt in Revelation. Revelation 11 and 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this spiritual Egypt is talking about the great city, that's this great kingdom that these Edomites is going to have at the end of the world. See, because Esau is the end of the world. See, he going to have this great kingdom. That's why when he said he going to come in on a swift cloud, he flieth on a swift cloud and going into Egypt. Saying, and then in Jeremiah, he said he's going to be flying like an eagle, spread his wings over Basra, see, and fly into the land of the Edomites. Because Egypt is the same thing, is the land of the Edomites. It's just a spiritual. Now, let's get another one. Isaiah makes it very plain on who he coming for. In Isaiah 63, it says, who is this that come from Edom? And it could be come to Edom too, because they like to put in little words to try to switch up the narrative. It said, who is this that comes from Edom with dyed garments from Basra, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, that I that speak in righteousness mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in your apparel, and your garments like him that treadeth the wine fat? I have trodden down, he said, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger. So he's talking about he's going to tread these Edomites in his anger. says, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. So Yahushua is going to come for the Edomites. See, traveling in the, how it said, traveling in the greatness of his strength. Well, that brings another one that comes to mind, Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47. I'm going to get right to the point. Let me get verse 1 to get the context. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. Now, when you go on to that great city in Revelation, that's talking about Babylon the Great. And this is the same Babylon Isaiah is talking about. Verse 3, it says, your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah. Your shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet you as a man. See, he gonna take vengeance. When is he taking vengeance? When he come on to the Edomites. See, when he spread his wings over Basra. See, they hard when the mighty men of Edom, when their military is having all kind of anguish of spirit and being terrified from fear. He's not gonna meet them as a man. He's gonna come in the greatness of his strength. This is all talking about the same situation. Let's get it in 2nd Ezra real quick. 2nd Ezra 13, and let me get verse 3. The 2nd Ezra 13 and 3, it says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So people is going to be fainting out of fear when they see Yahushua come spread his wings over Basra. See, pop up over Babylon the Great America. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I behold, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So now he's talking about this ship. He's seeing a ship, not a great mountain float in the sky. See, he's seeing a whole UFO battleship in the sky, man. And this is when he said he's going to spread his wings over Basra. They going to see that ship that Yahushua is coming in. So they all seeing the same vision. The prophecies is showing the same vision. And let's get that in I didn't want to lose my revelation. I want that revelation first. This Revelation chapter 1 verse 7, it says, behold, he cometh with clouds. That's them UFOs that's popping up, and they shooting missiles at them, and the missiles I don't know if that was a drone or some kind of missile that was shot, and the UFO broke the missile in half, or they shot the missile and the missile bounced off the UFO. They had something was moving, and something came from the side, and they collided. But it says, this Revelation 1 and 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they that which pierced him, and they also which pierced him. Who pierced him? It was the Edomite. Harold was a certified Edomite. He was in the Heronian dynasty. And these Edomites who was in cahoots with him, they had already had a clique, because the Sadducees was kissing up to him, or they had a relationship with the Romans. And John Eucrates and his sons, they started to bring these Edomites into the in Jerusalem. It says, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. That's what it said in 2nd Ezra 13. Now let's get another one. Let's go back to Revelation, because Revelation said something specific. Okay, this Revelation 12 and but no, you know what? That's not the one I want. Yeah, that's not the one I want. I want this 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. No, 4 and 15. It says, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout. See, and he gonna descend in that great battleship and that great UFO, which we done identified that object that's coming out of that sky. See, they the one acting like they can't identify. It says, with the voice of an archangel and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. So he gonna pop up in that ship, and we gonna meet the Lord in the air. Look at Revelation 15. Getting right to the point in verse 2. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. So you seeing something clear like glass, and you seeing fire mingled around it, mixed in. That mingle meaning mixed in. It says, and them that gotten the victory over the beast. So you seeing a clear glass, you seeing fire, and you seeing the people that's being the victory over these this Edomite kingdom. It says, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. So now they standing on the sea of glass. They done got the victory. They done met the Lord in the air. See, and when they in the air with the Lord, they looking at this fire that's blowing up Babylon the Great. That's consuming Babylon the Great America. See, this is what they seeing when they stand on that sea of glass. Now I'm gonna go back to Revelation real quick and get Revelations 11 and 12. It says, and they heard, this is Revelation 11 and 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That's that great mountain that Yahushua was flying on. See, that's when he come like an eagle and spread his wings over Basra. When he come traveling in his greatness, that's what he gonna be coming in that cloud. Just like Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw that great cloud come out of the sky. It says, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay, they're going to be standing on that sea of glass. They're going to be in the air. They're going to meet the Lord in the air. And they're going to be looking down at Babylon the Great. What's going to be happening in Babylon the Great? It said the enemies beheld them, and the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. That 7,000 goes for completion. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. So they're going to be affrighted when they see Babylon the Great being destroyed. See, they done been taken up in that cloud. This is Revelation 21. And I'm going to just start with verse 2 to get to the point. This Revelation 21 and 2, it says, and I, John, saw the holy city. See, he's seeing the same vision where these Israelites is standing in the air with the Lord, looking down at Babylon the Great, America burned. It says, he saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So after this place is burnt, or while this place is burning, they're going to meet the Lord in the air, and then they're going to come down for Russia and these other people that done blew America up. Now we coming to subdue them. Okay? Now let's go, let's get some more on that. This is, where is it? Jeremiah 51, and I'm gonna get verse 19 to get the context. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them. It's Jeremiah 51 and 19. For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. See, when they come down, they meet the Lord in the sky, they're going to come down and they're going to be the weapons of war. It says, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations. So they're not going to be worried about breaking up Babylon, because the missiles, those nuclear missiles, is going to swarm this place and consume this place with fire. It says, and with you will I destroy kingdoms. Because these Edomites are still going to be over there. The NATO still going to be over there. Russia's still going to be over there. See? The Edomites ain't going to be destroyed just because he blew up America. He got to still kick they behind and put they behind into slavery. Now, that was 19, did I finish that? Yeah, we get 21. It says, and with you will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. Russia's still going to have their battleships. They still going to have their fighter airplanes. That's why in Revelation 12 it said we're going to fight these dragons in the heaven. Because they got airplanes. That's what they call their airplanes, blue angels. Those are not fallen angels, man. Them the airplanes of Esau, Edom, Russia, and all of these NATO people. It says, and with you will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. So he gonna break in pieces these militaries, man, in the sky. When they come down, they gonna come down from heaven, meaning in the sky, and they gonna meet these militaries and start kicking they behind. It's Jeremiah. No, let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 24 and where is it? No, 25. Salaki. Ezekiel 25 and 14. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom, and by the hand of my people Israel. Salaki. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury. So this is when they come back with those spiritual bodies. We're going to get into that too. See, when they return to the weapons of war and come come down after they meet the Lord in the sky, they're going to have these spiritual bodies to put his vengeance on Edom. Because them nuclear missiles is going to blow America up. It says, and they shall know my vengeance, says the Lord of hosts. Let me jump down to 17, Ezekiel 20. This is Ezekiel 25 and 17. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, when I will lay my vengeance upon them. Okay, so let's get these spiritual bodies. Now let's start with Apostle Paul, since everybody loves the New Testament. Apostle Paul in chapter 15 of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 15, it says, get right to the point in verse 51, it says, behold, I show you a mystery, meaning a secret. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment and in the twinkling of an eye at the last trump. See, that's that trump in 1 Thessalonians 5 and 16, 17. He talking about he come out the sky with that trump, and he gonna beam them up, and they gonna be having their spiritual body. It says, for the trump shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. See? So now we gonna have immortal bodies. We come down and kick Russia's behind, China's behind, the Arabs, see, NATO and all these people that done clicked up against America to blow America up. See, we gonna go and kick they behind. Verse, let me get Zechariah. Zechariah 12, starting with verse 8. It says, and in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, meaning the Israelites. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, the incorruptible, immortal, as the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. So if you come against New Jerusalem, if you come against the Israelites that the Lord beamed up, see, and they met the Lord in the air, coming from the dead or still alive, see, and they get their new spiritual bodies, they gonna sweep through these people. Let's get that in Micah. Micah chapter 4. And let's see here. Look upon Zion. Salakia. Let's see here. Yeah, let's get the whole context. This is Micah 4 and 10. It says, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion. Talking about the Israelites. Like a woman in travail. For now shall you go forth out of the city. See, we left out of Jerusalem, or got kicked out. And thou shalt dwell in the field. That's on the west coast of Africa, and wherever we was scattered, pretty much. Because Jeremiah gonna back that up. But it says, for now shall you go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shall you be delivered. See, we're going to be delivered out of this Babylon, and meet the Lord in the air and get spiritual bodies. It says, and there the Lord shall redeem you from the hand of your enemies. Now as also many nations are gathered against you. So once we get delivered and go into the ships, the cloud, the chariots of salvation, as Habakkuk calls it. See, then these other nations are gonna come against us. Russia, China, all of these other nations that blew up America. It says that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thrust, O daughter of Zion, for I will make your horn iron. Now, one brother went into that thing so wonderfully. He said that horn that he's going to make iron, the Israelites is going to have power in their eyes. Meaning they're going to be, that's where they get the Cyclops situation. When they say, Cyclops take off his glasses and then fire shoot out his eyes. That's what, when you go into the translation, that's what it's saying. That's how much power the Israelites is going to have. And that horn represents power. Iron too. It says, and I will make your hooves brass, and you shall beat in pieces many people. So we're going to be beating they behind, man. He made it very plain. We're going to beat Russia. We're going to beat China. We're going to beat Iran. We're going to beat North Korea. See, we're going to beat NATO. We're going to beat every last one of them. It says, and I will consecrate your gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Okay? This is what's going to be happening to Daniel. Daniel says the same thing. This Daniel, Daniel chapter 2. Yeah, I'm going to just get right to the point. Verse 44. It says, in the days of these kings shall God, shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, nobody but to the Israelites. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. We're not just reading multiple places where the Israelites is going to break in pieces the other nations. See, Jeremiah, what was the other one? I got another in Revelation. Revelation is Yahweh quoting Psalms. It says, it's Revelation chapter 2, verse 26. It says, and he that overcometh and keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. See, we're going to rule these nations with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. See, we're going to break in pieces these nations. See, an Apostle John wrote it in Revelation, and this is the vision he got from the angel. So it's all through the scriptures how we going to break in pieces the nation. Let's see here. One another in Zechariah. Same fashion. I meant to go back up too. But it's going to say, or before it said that we were going to get those spiritual bodies, this is what it said in verse 4, where is it? Yeah, verse 3. It says, and in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. See, all of the nations was going to be gathered together against the Israelites. That's why you can't talk about no replacement theology, because they didn't replace that part. That part was never replaced. The Yahweh didn't come down and then all the nations said, you know what? We gonna leave these Israelites alone and we just gonna mess with church people. That's a lie. It never happened. They still got a United Nations and they focusing on these Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves. See, scattered around the globe. They trying to find the Israelites. They trying to get this marred, which is in Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he called all, both small and great, rich or poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So they trying to get this slavery device so they can attack the elect, the chosen Israelites that's going to get delivered. They're trying to eliminate them from getting delivered. See, let's put this device on them and see if we can get them that way. Let's go and blow up the moon and see if we can get them that way, because he told them, if y'all can destroy the moon and the stars and go search out the ocean, the depths of the ocean, then I might cast away my people. See, they trying to do whatever they can do to get him to cast away his people. But none of it is working. Let's get it in Isaiah 60, is it? Isaiah 60 and 12. It says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So if they don't want to serve the Israelites, they're going to have to perish. See, because he's going to give us a rod of iron, and we're going to rule over these nations. And they're going to have to bow down and kiss the ring. Let's get that. Isaiah 49 and 23. It says, and kings shall be your nursing father, and their queen shall be your nursing mother. They shall bow down, with their face towards the earth, and lick up the dust of your feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful slave or captive be delivered? It says, but thus says the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. So this is showing how they going into slavery. Let's get that song. The song is talking about the same thing. This is Psalm chapter 2. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, so they gonna come against the Israelites. Let's go jump down to verse 8 and say, ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance. See, the heathen was enraging, and they had done set themselves against the Israelites. He said, I'm gonna make these heathen your slaves, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. See, we were gonna be slaves, and they was gonna be enraged coming against us. Then he gonna give us the power to rule over they behind and and they gonna be our slaves. Let's get that Isaiah 50, Isaiah 45. Start with these Hamite Africans. What are we gonna do with them? This is Isaiah 45 and 14. It says, thus says the Lord, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabaeans, men of stature, shall come over unto you, and they shall be yours. They shall come after you in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down up unto you. They shall make supplication unto you, saying, surely God is in you, and there is none else. There is no God. See, there's no other God but the God of the Israelites. And see, he the one is going to put it in our spirit to get vengeance. Because a lot of these Israelites, they got Stockholm Syndrome. So they're not going to even want the vengeance. But he going to put it in their hearts and their spirit to get that vengeance. That's why he said in Ezekiel, they going to execute my vengeance and my fury. And that's what people don't understand. They keep talking about, oh, the Lord, vengeance is the Lord. Yeah, vengeance is the Lord, but he gonna set the Israelites up to get that his vengeance. He gonna use us as his sword, like he using these Edomites as his sword to get vengeance on the Israelites. He just gonna reverse the situation. Let's get that in Deuteronomy 30. It's Deuteronomy 30, and let's see, I'll get verse 3 to get right to the point. It says that then the Lord your God will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, meaning he gonna take you out of slavery, and will return and gather you from all the nations, whether the Lord your God have scattered you. So he gonna gather us from slavery. We'll jump all the way down to verse 7. It says, and the Lord your God will put all these curses upon your enemies and on them that hate you, which persecute you. So he's going to reverse that whole situation. Okay. Let's go get that Isaiah 14. Salakia. Isaiah 14 and 2. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, meaning slaves. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and from your hard bondage where you were made to serve. So they were serving these Edomites in their kingdom, which rose their kingdom up to the top, and now they gonna reverse it. He gonna reverse the whole situation. Now let's see here. This is Isaiah 14, and I'm gonna jump out there on verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. See, he gonna reverse the whole situation so they can't be world rulers anymore. They gonna have to be slaves and under the Israelites. Let's get Joel. It says Joel, I'm gonna just get verse 6, 7, and 8. It says in Joel 3 and 6 that the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them. See, and let them meet him in the air, in that cloud, that great chariot that looked like a great mountain. See, and meet Yahushua in the air, and will return your recompense upon your own head. See, reverse the curses. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans and to a people far off, for the Lord have spoken it. Okay, so this is what's going to happen in these last days, and Esau is terrified. See, they having terrible fear because they seeing these UFOs flying around. Let's get that. Isaiah 60, starting with verse 8. It says, who is Isaiah 60 and 8? Who is these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows? So who are these that's flying like flying like a cloud? Say, who is that? Because it's not a cloud that it's talking about. They flying like a cloud. This is Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel saw this ship that the Israelites are gonna get saved in. Just what they seeing on the news. Cause they been saw that situation in 2024. This 2025 about to be 2026, and now they want to come out with it. And they done saw more than that. See, that's just the crap they felt like they want to show people, show the public. It says, this is Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 4, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire. So he was seeing a great cloud. He was seeing a ship, but it's moving in the air, and it looked like a great mountain. Like second Esdras, he called it a great mountain. See, but Ezekiel called it a great cloud. Revelation, John called it a cloud. Matthew called it a cloud that Yahushua coming on, because this is what it's moving like. They can't tell you exactly what it is. That's why even Esau, even in the military, he got to call it a UFO or IPO. So he got to say, I can't identify it. I can't put a name on it. I just got to call it a UFO, because he can't put no name on it. It's the vehicles of the angels. It's the vehicles of the chariot that's going to save and rescue the Israelites from these racist monsters that's going to try to exterminate them behind. You had one dude, he talking about, let's go door to door. See, let's go door to door and attack they behind. That's how vicious these Edomites is, man. They ready for war, and they gonna try to exterminate the Israelites. They making all the guns, they got the sword. So they got the power to kill, like Ecclesiastes say. Matthew is when Matthew 24, along with 21, it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. That's that Jacob's trouble that Jeremiah 30:7 was talking about. Yahweh Shai, that's his testimony. He's giving a testimony of that prophecy. This is what's going to happen in the last days. It says, verse 22, and except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay, because he's talking about the conspiracy that they got against the Israelites. Little pad is tripping. Psalms 83, starting at verse 3. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. That's who the elect is, that he's going to have to come back before they won't have no flesh to survive. It says, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. See, they're confederate against the Israelites. They ready to pounce on the Israelites. See, Edomite kills an Edomite with the same ideology, with the same upbringing, same political party. See, and you want to attack the Negroes. They got to shut down all the Negro colleges because the Edomites done got inflamed because one of their peoples got shot by one of their peoples. This is how powerful these Edomites is, and look who they named, the first people who conspiring against the Israelites. Verse 6, in Psalms 83:6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, who the Arab, Moab, the Chinaman, the Hagarenes, you learn Hamite Africans, Gabal, Ammon, the Japanese, and Amalek. Amalek is the one that probably assassinated that man, they setting everything up through their media. So they control the media, they control the movies, they got a seat in all the top corporations. See, these small hats is the top level Edomites. They the top devils on the scene. Oh, let's get that. Thus says the Lord. Baruch 4:34. It says, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting. And that Iran shooting them missiles over there to the Holy Land is an example of it. It says, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem. See, they over there in the Holy Land, and they're the top devils on the scene. They're the top Edomites that's ready to set up the Israelites and accuse them of being the worst criminals and murderers when they are the worst criminals and murderers in the world. Not no Israelites, not the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But Trump get on there and run his mouth and say they're a bunch of criminals. And now they talking about the southern, that was the northern kingdom Trump talking about. But his little minions is jumping on TV talking about the Negroes. They the criminals. This is Revelation 12:10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying, in heaven now is come salvation, strength, and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them for the Most High day and night. So they accusing them, trying to say that, oh, these are the criminals, the murderers, the people that's we got to get rid of. And why they doing that? They doing that because of this, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he have but a short time. So this is why they coming with all of their propaganda, because they got a short time. So they want to come with all the propaganda that they can and say it's the Negroes, it's them, they're the problem. They're around here shooting up the block, they're a bunch of gang members, see, they're a bunch of drug dealers, they got that killer rap music, see, they're having leaving the women, they're not staying with the women and having babies and taking care of their children. See, we got to get rid of them. See, and their rhetoric is causing our own people to shoot our own people. See, we know it was one of us, but our own people shooting our own people, we got to blame it on the Negroes. See, it was us, but it wasn't us. See, they know they got a short period of time, and they coming down with great wrath. And what that wrath is going to do, jump down to verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. See, it's the Negroes. They're the problem. And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai of Mashiach. See, they the problem. It's those Israelites. They telling the truth, they're exposing everything. See, before they started, nobody was paying attention, everybody was asleep. See, the woke culture, we gotta stop these woke culture, because these are people that's causing all the trouble, not us murdering and killing each other and setting up these Negroes for a downfall. Let's get Judas 5 to show how this is what they doing, and this is who is accusing the brethren. It says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, just Judas 5 and 20. If there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God. So let's do something to make them sin against their God. Let's put it in the media that they sinning against their God. See, let's make everybody believe this crap. It says, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So this is what these Edomites is saying, man. We need to accuse these Negroes. Tell the world that they are the problem. See, it's not no white supremacy. See, and our racist attitudes and racist laws. See, it's not us oppressing them. See, it ain't got nothing to do with us. You tell them religious people it's the devil, it's the fallen angels, it's their fault. See, and it's the Negroes. Them the two devils on the scene. Them the two adversaries and Satan. See, these are the criminals and the people that's making the society bad. This is what they gonna push on the darn people through their media, paying these actors and these movie stars and these people to push that crap. Because this is a history of what they've been doing, accusing the brethren, scheming and trying to set up the brethren. Let's flood the neighborhood with dope. If we can flood it with dope, then they won't have no brain. They won't be able to compete and think straight. They'll be all drugged up on the corner looking crazy. See, that's always been their plan, to exterminate the mind first. First, we gonna attack this mind of this Negro and this Hispanic. Then we gonna get everything else. Let's get that in Second Corinthians 4:4. It says, "In who the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not." See, let's blind their mind, man. Let's put up a Edomite Jesus and make them worship us. Had the women putting blonde hair in their head, knowing she got a black afro, but she want to look like Jesus. It says, "Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Amashiach, who is the image of the Most High, shall shine unto them." So we don't want none of the image of the Lord to shine unto these people. Let them worship us. Put up the white Jesus and let them worship us. Let me get Second Corinthians 10, I think. 10 and 4 on the same subject. It says, for the weapons, it's 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations." And that imagination goes for images. White Jesus. We're going to cast down white Jesus and show that it's a bold-faced lie. It says, "And every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Amashiach." So this is what we doing. We exposing these devils, man. These liars. The devil just means to lie, to be a darn deceiver. And Satan means adversary. This is the Hebrew word for adversary is Satan. If you speak in Hebrew all day, you ain't gonna say adversary, never. You gonna say Satan. Satan. This is where they get that word from. There was no angel in the heaven, and the Lord said, "You know, your name gonna be Satan." See, this is a lie from these people. Or his name wasn't Lucifer, none of that other crap either. That was talking about the light bearer, or these Illuminati people that know the truth, but they're gonna hide the truth. But they secret organization. Now, let's see, this is Daniel chapter 7. I'm gonna start with verse 25. It says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High." See, that's all the lies that they've been telling, man. They speaking great words, great lies. It says, "And shall wear out the saints of the Most High." The Israelites, they done wore them out. They done push that Christian lie on their behind, man. God is for everybody. He got rid of y'all. He don't like y'all no more. Y'all killed the Messiah. See? An old lie. It says, "And think to change times and laws." Yeah, you don't have to follow none of y'all laws, and he don't deal with y'all no more. He deal with some heathen that want to call out a false name, earth pig. See, Jesus mean earth pig. It don't mean nothing. See, it don't got no kind of power to it. It just mean earth pig. The J and the E, that gives out it means earth in Latin. And then the S-U-S means pig in Latin. That's all you hollering out. Earth pig, help me. Yeah, but we gonna see if an earth pig help you behind. Now, let's go into Revelation. Revelation 13 and 7. 7. Well, let's start with verse 5. Because this beast is the same thing as this red scarlet colored beast is the same thing Daniel was talking about. They was going to change the law, change the time, and tell all kind of lies against the Most High. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy. See, speaking great lies. Jump down to verse 6. It says, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, to give him a false name, and his tabernacle, to have a false people running around here talking about they some those are the Jews right there. It says, and them that dwell in heaven. See, giving everybody a false name. And using no biblical name. They done changed the people's names. But they know where the people come from. They know the Ishmaelites. They know where the Elam and Edom. They know all the people, but they gonna keep lying to the people. Verse 7. It says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And that kindred stands for the 12 tribes of Israel. When you go into that Greek word, the nation, ethnos, that stands for a tribe when you go into the Greek word. But they made the English, tried to trick you with the English. Verse 8, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. See, trust him, listen to him, listen to his theology, listen to his breakdown of the scriptures, his interpretation. Whatever he say is what it is. I'm white and I'm right. Okay. Then when you go into Revelation 22, see, and that's one of the ways he spoke great things against the Most High, because he went in him, changed the words in his Bible. See, you got a New World's Translation. See, you got a international version, and all these versions that changed the words. They took his name out of there and put Lord and God. These Edomites did that. Nobody else running around here making Bibles. He making the Bible and he's taking stuff out. This Revelation 22 and 18, it says, for I testify unto every man that hears the words of this prophecy of this book, if any man shall add to these things. See, he done took out words and added words. God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. That's why they said, oh, that's a white man's book. Because he done tampered with the thing. Verse 19, it says, if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part from out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. So that in 13, what did it say? Let's go back to 13 to show what did he do. How was he speaking great words? He was tampering with the book, man. Here it says, verse 8. It says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life. See? Because what? He was tampering with the book. He was adding and subtracting words out of the book. Like Matthew 18 and 11. He done took that whole verse out that said that Yahushua came to save that which was lost. He says, names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So this is why you don't supposed to trust a freaking Edomite, man. What in Psalms 50 and 16, he said, what do you got to do to declare my word, my covenant, and put it in your mouth, knowing that you wicked and you don't like none of the instructions. You done changed the law, told people not to keep the law, see, lied and said who the Israelites is. And some of the biggest Christian religions is trying to say that them small hat peoples over there was the real Israelites. See, as soon as you bring up anything about an Israelite in any of them denominations, they'll go to pointing at them peoples over there, and they all with or the APAC, they all over there getting money from them people, man. All of these denominations. This is Revelation 13 and 14. It says, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they shall make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And that was another verse I wanted, because that sword that wounded him, and his wound, his deadly wound, is that Revelations 20, where it says that he went into the bottomless pit. See, for 1,000 years. That's a 1,000-year wound that happened. Not no he was allowing World War III to go on and all that crap. So I'm gonna leave it there. The wind is kicking up. About to flip my phone over. My battery running dead. I'm gonna end it with Revelation 18. Lord, hurricane coming through. All right, phone tripping. Revelation 18. I'm gonna get verse 20. I'm gonna start with verse 23. It says, I'm gonna get that last minute. It says, for your merchants were the great men of the earth. See, these great men of the earth are these Edomite trillionaires and millionaires. For by their sorceries were all nations deceived. See, not because some fallen angels. It was these great men of the earth deceiving the people. These Edomites deceiving the people. Okay. Now let me get verse 18. It's Revelation 18 and 18. It says, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? See, what city is like Babylon the Great? You ain't gonna find it. America is the greatest city on earth, and it's running everything. Jump down to verse 21. It says, and a mighty angel took up a great stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. What we hearing on the news? Oh, violence, political violence. See, the political violence is coming, but it's going to be some physical violence in a minute. It says, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So when them missiles hit this place, it ain't gonna be no another Babylon gonna pop up somewhere. The Russians gonna pop up, and we got to fight them. There go that battery. So yeah, this place is finished. And then let me get Daniel 7. It's Daniel 7 and 18. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So I'm going to leave it there. Give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rikakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace of the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.